I'm here to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers, and this isn't a really serious, in-depth video. This is just thoughts that come from the top of my head that I just want to discuss about, as I will expect to probably do more in-depth videos after the scouting combine on the Steelers, because I do look to go forward with a more Steelers-centric focus on this channel in the future, because they are the team I care about the most. They're the team I watch the most, I know the most of, history, everything. They're my team, so I know the most about them. And I will still continue covering all NFL teams. I'll still look at that at NFL landscape. But there will be a lot more Steelers-centric videos on this channel just because it's what I know. But looking at them, there are so many things I want them to do differently. And I'm already a vocal critic of this offseason. I'm not a fan of the Mike McCarthy hire. And for those saying, well, it's just because of his age or anything. No, I have never been a Mike McCarthy guy, and I never will be. Maybe he has a chance to shut me up, and if that's the case, I truly hope he does, but right now, I just don't see it. So, I just want to talk about some things I want to see the Steelers do. Again, I haven't really gone into like the film aspect of Malik Willis or Kyler Murray or, God, I hope not, but Tua. I haven't dove deep into that. That will come shortly after Combine. There are some draft quarterbacks I have watched a good bit about. All the film watching I've done recently has just been draft prospects, whether they are wide receivers, which is what I've been mainly focused on because, quite frankly, the Steelers need a lot of wide receiver help in this free agency class. Kinda sucks. But you look at that and the quarterback aspect, which is what this is really going to be about. Man, please just have a direction, Pittsburgh. That's all I'm asking. For those who don't know, I am not a big Will Howard guy. I do not have a good draft grade on him, and I just don't think highly of him as the NFL quarterback. That being said, I would be happier about Will Howard being the quarterback over Aaron Rodgers because it feels like a direction. And that's really where I want the Steelers to figure out this offseason is a direction. I don't want to hear, well, we're winning to try and make the playoffs because we believe if we get in the dance, we have a chance, which that logic, it's so just thinking backwards. It's old boys club logic because that's how sports used to be. You could get in as that 6th seed and, you can go on a run. And listen, there are some teams that can get in as 6th seed right now and you're a little worried about. But the Steelers aren't that. They're an older team that needs a lot of youthful injection. And that's really why I want to see the quarterback position is I want to see direction. You trade and bring in Kyler Murray. Not a Kyler Murray fan. I have videos criticizing him on this channel and the fact I think he's a big reason as to why the Cardinals are where they are right now. But you bring him in, I can at least see a direction like, hey, if this works out, he's here next year. It's not just a one and done. And it also gives you a chance to draft a quarterback and not have him play immediately. Now, if you bring back Aaron Rodgers, you are literally in the exact same spot where it's like, well, we don't like this year's draft class. We're going to run it back. And that's the worst thing I believe this team can do because they're just chasing the same thing they've been chasing. And listen, I expect them to bring Rodgers back. It's why, again, I'm very critical of this offseason already because I just don't like the direction they're going at all because there is no direction. But you look at Malik Willis. Malik Willis, extremely talented guy. Do I have concerns how he would fit in the Mike McCarthy offense? Absolutely. I don't believe he is a guy that you will have throw as much as Mike McCarthy wants. Mike McCarthy is going to want someone to throw 45 times a game, which is also why I don't get the Aaron Rodgers discussion for Mike McCarthy's offense because modern-day Rodgers can't do that. Can Malik Willis do that? I have my thoughts on that. I don't think he necessarily will be able to do it at a consistent level. Could he have some games where he's just spectacular doing it? Yeah. Could he have some games where he's absolutely just not good? Yeah, I think so because he's not a quarterback that you would ask to do that a whole bunch. And to be fair, McCarthy's never had a quarterback like Malik Willis. He's always had just drop back passers. Rodgers, very good athlete in his prime. Still a drop-back passer. Dak Prescott, very good athlete. Still a drop-back passer. Malik Willis, you have to roll out. You have to do a lot of fun stuff with him. And we've never seen Mike McCarthy have a quarterback like that. So maybe he would switch up his offense for that. And you could say the same thing for Kyler Murray. Now, I think Kyler, you trust a little bit more, drop back to pass. Concern is he obviously won't be able to see over the line of scrimmage because he is so short. But, hey, he can at least throw it more consistently, I feel like. You will have to really change how you develop your offense because Mike McCarthy loves to target the middle of the field and Kyler Murray can't see it. It's just that is a route that I'm not necessarily the highest on, but I can at least see something there. Tua, Dolphins gave you a draft pick. That's around the only positive thing I could say because you take that contract on, you are getting a nice pick. Similar to what we saw of the Brock Osweiler trade many years ago of the Texans trading Osweiler to the Browns. But that's really kind of just my thoughts on the quarterback position of, man, Malik seems like the best option, but like you can't bring Rodgers back and expect to achieve the same greatness because he doesn't do what Mike McCarthy will want him to do. He does not sit back and throw 45 times a game. He cannot do that anymore. His arm and mobility will not allow him to do that. He does not throw over the middle of the field anymore. Mike McCarthy wants the ball thrown over the middle of the field. It feels like a lot of this is we're going to chase former glory, and it's just not going to work out, which is just why, again, I'm low on this offseason right now. Now, they could do some stuff to change it. Let's look at the running back position real quick. Kenneth Gainwell is a free agent. There is a price limit I think you should have for him. If he asks for anything over $5 million, you hang up the phone. $5 million, maybe you can even negotiate him down for. But I think there's a chance he's going to go after a DeAndre Swift package where he's going to get up to $8 million a year, and you cannot pay him that. You cannot pay Kenneth Gainwell more than Jaylen Warren because Jaylen Warren is just a better player. I know a lot of people will point out how Kenneth Gainwell is used in the offense. I don't think we could put Kenneth Gainwell in another offense in NFL history and expect the same results because the offense the Steelers ran last year was not functional, and it's just because Kenneth Gainwell was there for checkdowns. This is what Rodgers wanted to throw was the checkdowns. He was able to do so much. To me, you can't pay a guy that much money that he's only useful in one specific type of offensive role when you just drafted a running back in the third round. And maybe they've already given up on Caleb Johnson. That's possible, but you still can't do that. You would be better off using one of your third round picks or a second round pick this year, drafting a running back in a talented running back draft class. It just doesn't make a lot of logical sense to pay him a lot of money. Then we look at the receiver room, the room every Steelers fan is eyeballing, and there's a lot you could do here. The Steelers really need to address the wide receiver room. Pretty much 2 through 4 needs to be a target, and you can argue a wide receiver 1 needs to be a target because DK may not be a true 1, and he's probably not a true 1 in a Mike McCarthy offense with how he likes to utilize him because DK can't do all the route combinations CeeDee Lamb could, and that's really what Mike McCarthy wants. And I don't think there's a free agent available that can do that. I think you'd have to get a draft pick. Jordan Tyson is probably your best bet to do everything Mike McCarthy wants. But there is a question right now going on about him. And listen, this is all pre-scouting combine. More stories can come out. This can be completely different, and it might be a completely different story after the combine. But there have been reports about him having some medical red flags. That's not good, especially for the Steelers who back-to-back years have taken medical red flags in the first round and have seen Troy Fautanu miss the majority of the season and Derek Harmon have a lot of injury struggles his rookie year. There are concerns doing that. Can you do that 3 years in a row? It's very risky. Other guys you could look at, Denzel Boston, he's going to be a very hot topic, very talented receiver, very good in the red zone. I could see him working out well, but the guy I really, really like, and listen, I'm just going to say guys that I believe will be in the draft range. I don't think Malachi Lemon will be in the draft range. Carnell Tate, just don't even dream of that. If he gets past Tennessee, I'd be shocked. So, looking at the guys they can draft, the guy that really pops to me that I haven't seen anything medical about is KC Concepcion from Texas A&M. Talk about a guy that I don't know if he can ever be a true 1, but he can truly be your everything type player. I really like him in the slot, but I would also like to see him line up on the outside. I think he's got some good route running ability. I think he's good at fighting hands, that he can make some plays. He's a very good, talented return man. That is a major plus in my books because the Steelers have not had a decent return game in forever. That's something I would really much like to see change, and he did a great job returning punts and kicks at Texas A&M. That's something that I want to see in Pittsburgh. And listen, we can all point out that you want veteran wide receivers. And this is, again, where I'm going to point out why bringing Rodgers back is such a bad idea. He won't throw to the rookies. Like, he is wants veterans, he wants his buddies to throw the ball to because he wants to have that trust. Rookies make mistakes. More often than not, they will drop a pass. And everyone's going to be like, oh, you can't drop it, but they're a young player. Mistakes will happen. That's just the case in the NFL. That's the case in any sport. Mistakes will happen. And if you draft a guy in the first round and he drops a pass and Rodgers stops throwing the ball to him because he's a rookie that made a mistake, like, you can't bring him back. That's really the ultimate goal of it. Unless you're completely looking at going at the free agency window and like Alec Pierce. I've seen a lot of Steelers fans want Alec Pierce. Couple things. One, Daniel Jones was a better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers last year. You're not leaving that. Two, the Steelers have a need a wide receiver. Two other teams desperately have a need a wide receiver too. The Tennessee Titans and New England Patriots. The Titans and Patriots have way more money than the Steelers, and they have a quarterback that can really utilize Alec Pierce's skill set. Same thing we see with like a Wan'Dale Robinson, and we can go down the list more and more. The Steelers aren't attractive to a free agent wide receiver when you look at the fact, hey, would you rather go play with Drake May, Cam Ward, or Aaron Rodgers? Well, one of those quarterbacks was really bad. The other was on the Titans last year, who you get a major just year, like pass, everything. That Titans team was so poor, everything, but you saw what he could do later on in the year, and he was turning it on, and it's really exciting. Then you look at the Patriots. They said the runner-up MVP. I know they just got trounced in the Super Bowl by an all-time defense, but Drake May is still a pretty good quarterback. And I think that's really where the Steelers need to realize they're at. They're not a desirable destination. It's not like they're in Los Angeles. It's not like they're in Miami. It's not like they're in Texas or whatever. They're in Pittsburgh, which means some people are going to look at that and be like, I don't want to live in the cold. I don't want to deal with all that. And then you're like, okay, well, we have this quarterback. Well, I don't want to play with the old Aaron Rodgers. And that's the thing that the Steelers need to figure out. It's why I'm saying they need a direction so bad. Because you either have to hit on your draft picks and make Rodgers throw to the young guys, which he has historically not done when they make mistakes, or you bring in a bunch of veterans who are probably overpaid and you're stuck with bad contracts because you wanted to stick with a 43-year-old quarterback who wasn't even good last year. Like, that's a big issue. And now we look at the defense. Listen, cap needs to be cut here. Patrick Queen, I don't think he's entirely responsible for a lot of issues. Do I think he's lived up to his contract? No. Do I think he's a bad football player? No. I think he is in the middle somewhere. I did not like the contract when he signed it. I thought it was really risky, and it turned out to be so. I would probably see if I could negotiate an extension, lower that cap hit, see if we can do something there, because I don't think he's a bad linebacker at all. I also think this linebacker draft class is pretty good, so you want to move off him, draft a guy, I'm kind of okay with that because, oh boy, I barely dipped my toe in that water, and that was fun. That was a lot of fun. I'd highly recommend people start checking out linebackers in the draft process. They're very talented this year. But you look at Patrick Queen, I would say more likely than not, he's going to be cut. Jalen Ramsey, the big question is, I've seen some reports, I think it was Jerry Dulac I saw that said Ramsey will be on the team next year, which, what a colossal mistake in my opinion. Jalen Ramsey was just not good last year. He cannot do man coverage anymore. His speed is evaporated, and as a safety, he just didn't line up right. You cannot enter the season with that cap hit, and we've seen many teams try to negotiate down Jalen Ramsey. He does not want to do so. I think you're just better cutting him now. And other guys you can cut, like Jonnu Smith, please, please, please cut him. Just that should not even be a thought of, well, we can keep him. Maybe McCarthy will find a ways for him. No, just cut him, please, for my mental sanity. Cut him. Cut him, cut him, cut him, cut him, cut him. Other defenders we could see on the move. I could see a trade for Alex Highsmith. Just strictly, you need to get rid of some money. You need to find ways to create cap space and invest in the offense. I love Alex Highsmith. I think he's extremely talented. But you look at the job Herbig has done, and you probably are going to eventually want to pay Herbig. I would say you probably are more invested in Nick Herbig right now as a player than TJ Watt, because Herbig is younger. He's going to fit your next timeline way more. He's going to be there. If you can hit on a quarterback, a young quarterback, he's going to be there. TJ Watt may not be there, and that's something you have to very much consider. Cam Hayward might be retiring. I've seen a lot of stuff. Steelers fans, if Cam Hayward wants to play football, just stop your complaining. He was one of the best defensive linemen last year, and he would still be a very good player. He is a tremendous player. I understand your butt hurt that he wanted more money when he deserved it, but he's a great player, and just enjoy him while he stays. If he decides to retire, congratulations on a great career, Cam Hayward. If he wants to leave and go chase a ring, fully support him, and it would help clear up cap space for the Steelers as well. Like, there are paths the Steelers can have cap space and invest in the offense, which they very much need to do because they have to completely redesign the offense. You look at the fact they need a new receiver. Well, not a new receiver, new receivers. They need probably a new left guard. I don't know if they're going to bring Saimalu back. I don't know what they're going to do at left tackle. If Dylan Cooks can get the job, if Broderick Jones can get the job, maybe they move Broderick into guard, which I've been begging for them to do for years now. Like, there's a lot of interesting things. And one other thing I'd really like to point out is Joey Porter might be on the move. And that's not something we would expect. Like, oh, he was really good last year in man coverage. He is a tremendous man coverage corner. You put him in zone coverage, it is not pretty. And it's going to be interesting. I don't necessarily know how Patrick Graham's going to use him as much. I would just keep my eyes on that long term of, hey, maybe they look to move him. Maybe it's a move up in the draft to take someone they really, really want. Or maybe they're looking, hey, we didn't draft our quarterback this year. We want some 2027 draft ammo to go up and get a guy. Let's look at that. Something along those lines I could see very much happening. And this is not me disregarding Joey Porter Jr. as a player. I think he's a very, very, very good man coverage guy, but the NFL is moving way more to a zone coverage-based league. And if you aren't good in zone and maybe you can improve, I'm yet to see that, but if he can improve, great, no problem. Sign him, extend him long term. He is also in a contract here, which is going to be another key thing. How much do the Steelers necessarily want to invest in him? There are so many things that you have to look at with him that I think a trade is not necessarily the craziest thing in the world. But overall, the Steelers need a lot of turnover on this team. They cannot run it back with the same quarterback, and I would argue they are a worse team if Aaron Rodgers is a starting quarterback than if they had a Malik Willis. Or, I would maybe say over a Kyler Murray. I think I would take Kyler Murray over Rodgers. I think Tua can throw the ball better than Rodgers can right now on a more consistent basis. And something you cannot discredit Tua for. He might have his issues, but man, he's not afraid to take a hit, and I saw Rodgers afraid to take some hits this year. And I think we look at the Steelers right now, they just need to pick a direction. And that's my one request this offseason is pick a damn direction. You want to go young, use your draft picks. Go young. Get that youth. Get all that youth. I'm A-okay with that. If you still think you can do something with this team, which I disagree with, at least try and get a good quarterback. At least try and make a risky move with Malik Willis. Make a risky move with Kyler Murray. Try something, because the same thing working over and over again every single year, it's just the definition of insanity. And it's to the point that it's alienating me that I'm just less and less invested every year in Steelers football, which is not something I want to say. But I just wanted to change. I want to see a direction picked out. If that's Will Howard for a year and you want to see with what the young guys got, even if he is not an NFL caliber quarterback, I'd be way happier with that than bringing back Aaron Rodgers. But that's going to wrap us up. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button for your new channel. Hit that subscribe button if you share this. I greatly appreciate it. Stay tuned for a lot of draft content that will be coming out on this YouTube channel in the next coming months. There's a lot of draft videos planned. And hey, if you haven't already, check out my Super Bowl 51 retrospective review of it. I talk about the two teams leading up to the game and how much that game just was awesome in general. Check it out, and thank you very much for watching, and I hope you all have a great day.